What's up, fish fam? Just a quick one. This isn't going to be long. I just finished. My buddy Rob just left. He came here and helped me move a couple tanks around. And I figured I'd share with you real quick. Because there's been some changes going on. It's a little bright back there, it seems. All these lights are crazy, huh? Maybe if I turn off the overhead lights. Up, knocking stuff over. Up, stepping on wet towels. Hot foot. Hot foot. Let me flip the camera for y'all. Hey everyone, I see two people just showed up. I got two looks. Rob, thanks Rob. Speaking of my buddy Rob who just left, he's watching right now. There's 5 others just joined in, so go ahead everyone. If you want me to say who you are, go ahead and say something in the chat and I'll be able to let you know. I'll give you a shout out. But basically, just doing a quick update here, and this rack right here is new, so that's pretty cool. We basically took the blue Moscow Guppy tank that was previously right here and moved that onto the bottom level of the new rack. And this new rack was basically designed because that tank couldn't fit on any of my other racks. So I basically decided pretty much to build this rack so it would fit that tank, as well as the new I got this on Craigslist for free because it was leaking and no one wants to buy or even take a free leaky aquarium most of the time. So the guy was having a hard time getting rid of it. So I resealed it and it's good to go now. So I built the rack for this pretty much. I wanted to make the bottom row long enough to fit this and that 30 gallon there that Rob also gave me. Thank you, Rob. So Jeremy Watson, welcome, thanks for watching. Susie Q, thanks for coming. Rob wants me to do a river. He wants me to make this into a river tank. If you don't know what I'm talking about, hold on. Can I make you a mod? No, I could block you and remove you, but I can't make you a mod. Rob, I was going to make you a mod so you could share the link, but I can't. But basically, you could Google river tank, and you'll see it's got really fast flow. It's like almost like they have a pool filter hooked to the tank, and they got really fast motion going on. Nissy, wow, welcome, welcome. Haven't seen you in a while, even though you've probably been lurking and not really adding comments. I'm sure you've been around. But welcome, nice to see you. How are the guppies doing, and shrimps and tanks? Just tell us everything. I guess I'll give you a quick rundown. So I got some tanks, 4 10 gallons up here that I got enough. These just got some ram's horn snails in there right now. This is my plant tank with all my extra plants that just get tossed in there until I find a place for them. 2 more tanks that are just chilling on this new rack. I got this tank for free off of Craigslist because it was leaky and I needed to reseal it, but I did that today. It's all resealed, ready to go. There's no water in it yet because it's still wet. It is a rimless tank, so you can see I put styrofoam right there. This stuff, poly panel. That's what I have underneath there, because since there's no rim, the glass would have been directly on the wood, and that would have created pressure points, because the wood, no matter how hard you try, it's not going to be perfectly straight. The wood's not going to be cut straight. The 2x4 isn't going to be straight. There's always going to be pressure points. So if you just put that glass directly on the wood, there could be pressure point on the glass that would just simply cause it to crack or at least break a seal. So I got some styrofoam poly cover under there. There's a brace on top. That's what allows us to make it rimless structurally. That's what pretty much bears the weight of the tank. That and some corners of the tank. But I built this, like I was saying before, I wanted to take this 30 gallon tank that Rob gave me and fit it next to there, but it just would not have made a good, it wouldn't have been a good idea, because basically it would have made this rack like another 2 foot longer, and I would have had to squeeze in here when I needed to get to those tanks, and when I needed to get to my office, this, which is already tighter than I would like, I would have had to squeeze through here in about 1 foot of space instead of about 2.5 like I have now to get over here to my office, which is cool. This is where I work. And speaking of being over here, basically there I got, it's not a new tripod, but it's a tripod-ish thing. This holds my phone, and this can basically clamp onto anything, a tank, wood, you name it, desk. And the neck is super flexible and bendy. So let me get this back attached here, and I'll show you. And I think this was $10 on Amazon. But it lets you bend it around and put it any direction. So it's not really a tripod, but it's almost as good as a tripod, because I could be like, hey, check out my blue bolts, and just let it record there for a minute, you know? And then I could be like, oh, look at my RREA Guppies, and just bend it up here. And it's actually almost even better than a tripod, I think. So that's actually why I bought it, because I think it's better than buying a tripod, or else I would have bought a tripod. So hopefully we'll get some better videos from there. NY Gold, welcome. Thank you. Kayla, how are you? Your fish room is a maze, but I love it. It is a maze, but it's only because I work from home. I'm a software engineer, so I wanted to be able to do my work and be surrounded by what I love. Like right here, I sit here all day with my laptop here. Normally all this junk is in here. This is just here because this new racks got moved here. But basically I have my laptop here hooked up to that screen, and I'll be able to look up, and while I'm thinking about what I'm doing, stare at my Sulawesi Cardinals, my Shadow King Kong Blue Bolt tank, and my White Ghostbee tank. Glance over here, get a shot of my Purple Lace Guppies, which, by the way, I'll get a shot of them. I have like a billion fry in there. And up here, my Royal Blue Tigers, which have a ton of baby shrimplets in there as well. Tons of them, actually. It's like all the babies are throwing right now, and it's super great. I don't know if you noticed, but it wasn't my intention to go this far, but my air pump, when I took out those Matin filters, my air pump, it's like they use a lot of air, those Matin filters, especially if you don't have a air stone on them and you run them open, at least compared to these, because my pump is handling much better, so much better, in fact, that I ripped out, there's not a single Matin filter in this room anymore. All of the tanks, even the Sulawesi, every single tank has been converted to these double sponges that, if you watch in one of my previous videos, I did an unboxing, and I bought 40 of these guys. Obviously the more you buy in bulk, the cheaper they get. So I think I got them for like $2 or $3 a piece, actually. But everything, I took my time, slowly converted everything over to the double sponges. As you can see, the red Rili pure red line 55-gallon tank that, when I'm sitting at my desk, is directly behind me. So when I'm doing live streams and I'm just sitting here talking, which never really happens, I'm always walking around, but if that ever happens, this is what's going to be in the background. My 55-gallon pure red line, which these ram's horns are already going nuts, laying snails everywhere. Very, very shortly, once I have enough rabbit snails, I'm probably going to try to get rid of all of my ram's horns. But there's the size. That bigger one on top was one of the babies that was just a baby when I first moved this tank over here. And that one underneath it was probably born within the last day or two. One thing I did notice on this tank that I don't have in any of the other tanks, if I could zoom out, YouTube app, are these little shell-like muscle things. It'll focus right there. They're like snails, but they're not. I know they're not really harmful, but it's just weird because I don't have them in any other tank. They just popped up in here, but it could be because of the wild Lake Erie driftwood that I picked up off the beach, which is what both of these pieces are, driftwood I found on the beach of Lake Erie. But the pure red lines seem to love this tank. They're pretty much everywhere. And I love these shrimp. These are, I say this all the time about every shrimp, but you know, these are slowly becoming my favorites, which is weird because originally my favorite were the crystal blacks, and I didn't see what the big deal about the reds were. But maybe I think it's since they're pure red line, I just like them a little bit more. And I also have red Rilis mixed in this tank, and there's a lot of buried mamas going on in this tank. If I could find the Rili, there's a red Rili in here, and every time she's buried, she has like the biggest clutch of eggs. I've ever seen on any shrimp ever. And I never really had many Rilis because they were upstairs in the dragon tank. So the guppies ate most of the babies. But I'm trying to find that female that always has so many eggs. It's just crazy. She usually hangs out on this filter over here, actually. Oh, there she is back there. I'm not going to be able to get a good view of her clutch, though, because of where she is. But if she turns for us, you will see some of the most eggs ever, unless she already threw them. But yeah, there, as you can see, there's baby pure red lines pretty much covering this whole tank already. Everywhere you look, you'll see a little shrimper. Little shrimpers everywhere you look, which was obviously the plan. But this, I mean, I love it. These shrimp are so active in here. They're always moving around, swimming, a lot more active than my other tank. My other shrimp generally just kind of like chill on the bottom in one place. Like here's the yellow King Kongs. Nice buried one right there. But they usually just, you know, chill in one spot, don't really swim around too much, stay on the ground. But my pure red lines, I mean, it seems like they're always swimming around. And it's not like there's more current in this tank or anything. There's only two sponge filters versus one in here. I bet there's actually more current in the 10 gallons than there is in these. Maybe not at the moment because these are submerged. The heads of the filters are submerged on these, and they're not on these at the moment. But that's the update for the pure redline tank, and I think these plants are coming in. I mean, this is my favorite tank I own now, at least looks wise. And once those plastic mesh soil towers get covered in moss, which is on my list of things to do, cover them in moss and have them just be completely covered in moss, it's going to look fantastic, I think. Plus when there's even more shrimp swimming everywhere. And the red Rili with the red crystals, I think, is going to be a good mix too. But since we're here, and there's 13 people here right now, there's back to the yellow King Kongs. I'll give everyone a little shot of everything. And since Nissy asked for a little bit of update, and I feel like talking now, since I've already been talking, these are the Sapphire shrimp. J1985, welcome. Mary Beth, welcome. So basically, these are the blue Sapphire shrimp, and you may notice, hey, wow, the quality of those shrimp look better. There's not a bunch of cull shrimp in there. I actually had my first shrimp sale a couple days ago. I'm not going to say her name because I didn't ask her if she wanted to be on the video or anything, but I met her down the street. It's a local girl. I didn't have to ship them. But basically, Chris Hardy linked us together. Thank you, Chris. And she was looking for a bunch of cull shrimp and didn't really care about what species or genus they were. She just wanted some pretty shrimp. And I said, you know what? I got some black rose culls. The same thing with these black rose. You see, most of them are. There's nothing but the black ones pretty much left. But she basically said, hey, I want some shrimp. Give me some colors. And I said, I'll hook you up with some of my cull shrimp. They're beautiful colors, but you know, a lot of people, they're still considered culls. So here's some blue black rose culls that, you know, if they were a blue dream, they'd be $8 a shrimp, but since they're a black rose cull, you know, they're not. So I gave her a bunch of my clears, browns, wild types, and blues from my black rose and my blue Sapphire shrimp tank. And I also hooked her up with some cherries and some pumpkin shrimp. So she was very happy. I was happy. It was a win-win. And she also let me know and said, hey, if you have any more calls, get a hold of me. And I actually saw her post a video on Facebook today of her shrimp, and they looked happy swimming around, and they did look kind of awesome all in the same tank, having all the mixed colors like that. I might start a Skrittles tank around here somewhere, maybe. But anyways, then I got another order. A guy, we'll call him James Earl. But James Earl got a hold of me and said he was looking for some cherry shrimp and some cheaper ones because he's just getting into shrimp, but he's a fan of my YouTube videos. So I said, hey, you know what? I got a bunch of cherries and some pumpkin, or I got some cherries for you if you want them. I also got pumpkins I could give you. And he was like, oh, that's awesome, just give me half and half. So I ended up giving him half and half, pumpkins and cherry shrimp. And I also sent him a little surprise that I don't want to ruin, but I guess I will. I hope he's not watching yet, and I hope he gets his shrimp tomorrow. They're due to be delivered tomorrow. I hope he gets his shrimp tomorrow before he watches this video, if he watches this video. But I also sent him a couple blue shrimp, a couple of the black rose culls to as a little free gift. So now, because I think he's doing the same thing, he might be mixing the shrimp. If he's not, hopefully he has an extra tank for the blues. But I sent him a little free gift on the blues too. Lumpy Dog, welcome. What are the plastic cross stick spillings that you are covering them off? You're referring to my own invention called my shrimp towers. And Caridina shrimp, like crystal shrimp, and Taiwan bees and Pintos, they require a lower pH. So you get a substrate. No, most people, pretty much everyone, I think I'm the only one who does it this way, besides Flip Aquatics, puts his in Tupperware containers. But basically, most people use the soil. It's called soil. Let me go over here. I have a little bag of it left right here that I cut off. But I have Brightwell. Here's a bag of Fluval that I haven't used in a while. The Fluval's good for crystals, but not really good for anything else. In my experience, other people have had total different success with Fluval, but I'm only using it as for my crystals as a backup. Right now, the crystals have Brightwell soil, which I do have a bag of the brown that I got from Triton Aquatics or Triton Freshwater Aquatics. You could get a hold of Chris Hardy on Facebook. But this is Brightwell that I bought this off of him, a bag of this and a bag of black. And the Caridina shrimp, most of them, not all of them, require a lower pH. So as you can see, these soils or substrates lower the pH, which is good for shrimp. So that's to answer your question. That's what goes in my tower. I just spilled some. Looks like this, but it's basically almost like hard potting soil. If you break it up, it is like actually just soil. That's what it looks like. You could break it up. It's pretty much just dirt. But it lowers the pH for the shrimp. And instead, it wears out. It doesn't last forever. The cheaper it is, generally the quicker it wears out. The Brightwell, you hear lasts about 2 years before it starts losing its buffering capacity, is what they call it. And once it loses its buffering capacity, when you do water changes, the pH will start creeping up on you. So basically what I do is I have 4 of them in here. So basically every 6 months I can change one out. And my pH should never have to, should never creep up, because there's always going to be 3 of them that are pretty much still good and 1 of them that's on its way out. So 1 brand new one, 2 that are still good, and 1 that is on its way out. Right now these are all still pretty good because obviously they're new. But eventually, after I start rotating them in that 6 months process, that'll be it. There'll be the 1 in there that's new, 2 that are still good, and 1 on its way out, pretty much. But that should be enough to keep the pH low enough to where the Caridina like it. But I'll continue my tour. These guys are new arrivals from Thailand. I got these from All Thailand Fancy Guppy, ATFG. He's a guppy judge around the world, flies all over the place judging guppies, and also breeds his own. These guys cost me an arm and a leg to get here from Thailand. I had to go through a transshipper because I don't have an importing license. So it was not cheap. The shipping was by far more than the fish, but the fish are still beautiful. These are called full black guppies. They have big ears, high dorsals, and umbrella tails. So this is a gorgeous, gorgeous fish. And 2 days after they got here, I noticed 3 fry in the tank. I'm probably not going to be able to find them right now, but they already gave me fry. So these fish are gorgeous. AFTG is, I also have 2 more pair on the way. There should be a pair of full platinum whites and a pair of black fire tails, which should have a completely black body and a bright red tail. They're going to be gorgeous. These are the RREA Albino Guppies, Super Reds, Firecrackers that I got from Guppy Train. Unfortunately, the male didn't make it, but he's calling me October 18th to update me on if he's going to be able to get me another one or refund my money. But he said these girls shouldn't be virgins and they should be gravid, so I should have fry either way anyway. Really hoping I do. My extreme blue bolt tank, there's only a couple of them in there because they were pricey, so I'm just going to move on because it's going to take us forever to find those guys. And here we have some blue Delta Guppy fry, 6 of them. They were a gift from Guppy Train with the red Super Reds. Here we have my blue Dream tank, which I believe pulled some culls out of here, but there aren't too many. This tank had a crash, so I'm waiting for him to build back up. These 2 tanks are empty, but these are the ones that are waiting for the full platinum whites and the fire tails from AFTG. Here's the Pinto tank. Right up in the front, there's a nice red zebra Pinto waiting to say hi to you. So she's saying hi. Let's see if we can find any of the other guys. There's only like 6 of them in this tank. They're all hiders. They're all hiders right now. But there's also 2 black zebra Pintos and 2 black Pintos. And 2 more red zebra Pintos in this tank. But they're all hiding right now. Maybe they'll come out in a little while. This is my high grade cherry tank. I finally got around to separating out the high grade ones. So that's what the new cherries. There's about 5 of them in this tank that all look pretty much about like that. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous cherry shrimp. So I thought it was about time I pulled out the best and started a nice painted red tank. And in here we have a single Platinum Tiger female juvenile. It was a trio that came with these, and the other pair didn't make it. But Guppy Train is sending a show quality replacement for it, so that's good. Hey Hobo Aquatics, welcome. Just found pea puffer fry in my tank today. Haven't had the adult pea puffers in quite some time. That is amazing. That's amazing. Nissy says, Chris, that sounds about right. My shrimps never come out to play when I'm near the tank, only when I'm across the room. Yep. Yep. TC Guppies, hello, welcome, welcome. So then I have, today I also cut the remainder of the bulkheads off the tanks that I got from Rob at Flip Aquatics. Kind of show you what I did here. Without breaking it, I hope. That was a loud noise. I don't know what I just did there. Oh, I think I hit that piece of PVC. But basically I have these little acrylic things that I got on Amazon in 12 packs. They're actually supposed to be for picture frames, I think. But they're little clear acrylic things, so I took the bulkheads off and just used a little aquarium sealant to seal up those holes. Don't mind me a minute while I put that back. But I bought a bunch of tanks from Flip Aquatics used, and I thought I wanted them drilled, and I later changed my mind that I don't. So now I'm sealing up all the holes. But I got those 4 tanks there that I got to get filled up. My pumpkin shrimp are doing really good. I need to start a high-grade pumpkin shrimp too, because there's probably 3 or 4 of them in here that I got from Tommy Lamb when we're at Shrimp Fever that are absolutely fantastic, gorgeous. And I kind of want to separate them out because I got some on Aquabid from Doug Chu that are nice. I mean, they're pumpkin shrimp, but they got a lot of clear to them. I'm actually starting to get some real orange Rilis out of them. So they're going the other way that I want them to go, which some people would prefer that. It's just I prefer the deep, like Sakura orange. See, even my low grade, I don't even call this a low grade tank. I just call my cherry shrimp tank. But even my cherry shrimp tank, I mean, the quality's still pretty amazing. I mean, so this is what I just call them, the normal cherries. But they have definitely have some good quality shrimp in there still. And then we already went over the black rose. And here, the blue Moscow tank that just got moved. They're doing really well. There's a lot of fry in there. There's a lot of yellow Sakura shrimp that are still doing good. Obviously not as good as if they were on their own, but there's a lot of shrimp in here. So that's good news too. Okay, go over here. This tank is blowing my mind with how many babies are in the purple laced tank. Or purple grass. I always say purple lace, but it's purple grass. And look how many fucking blue ram's horns. They're just infested with blue ram's horns. I'm about to start selling some of this Amazon frog bit. I got way too much of it in like every single tank. So if you want some of this, leave me a comment, or preferably hit me up on Facebook, Chris Roma on Facebook, or the Roma Aquatics Facebook page. Let me know you want some of this. It's my first time selling it, so I don't really know what pricing and shipping and everything goes for, but we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. So, but if you want some, let me know. I'll get it to you. Or we'll work something out. But there's literally, look how many fry are in this tank. Everywhere you look, fry and snails. And the adults are so funny because they just chill. Like there's one back there. They just hang out behind that rock all day long. So, I don't know. In here we have the white Guppies from Jeff Lidberg. Got a hold of him on Facebook because he's had a real nice colony of these. So I wanted to get a hold of him and get some. But these guys are doing pretty well too. I only had one death out of, I think I got 12 of them. So I think I only got one death out of the 12 so far. So that's good. These guys are good hiders though. I can't find any other ones. My Shadow Panda, Shadow King Kong. Haven't had any deaths in this tank so far that I know of. So there's a lot of blue bolts, Shadow Panda, Shadow King Kong, Extreme Blue Bolt, Extreme King Kong, and some crystal black mischlings going on in that tank. And here is the best news of the day. We have some Sulawesi Cardinal shrimps, and there are babies. I've spotted 3 of them at the same time so far, a couple days ago, but I haven't been able to find really any since. Oh, there's one. What are the odds? You see that little girl? See that little guy? Oh, it's so blurry you can probably only see the eyeball, but right directly in the middle of the screen there's a black dot with a little bit of red around it. That's a baby. Real tiny, probably just born today. Sorry about the zoom. I hate the YouTube app. It's very annoying. There we go, finally. It's really hard to zoom out on the YouTube app. Oh, is there a baby right there for us? Oh, no. That's just another shrimpy. Look how gorgeous cardinals are. They are gorgeous, gorgeous shrimp. Do I see any more babies? Oh, man. I think, oh, there's one right there on the log in front of us. Is it going to be able to focus for us, though? Right there. Can you see it? Oh, moving around. Yay. So happy. I love these guys. Are the PVC tubes to hides like for the plecos? Yep. Yeah, they're just like little cheap caves, basically. You buy a long tube of PVC for $1, you know. You cut it up, put a little hot glue, throw some caves in there, you know. I started off by making like real nice tubes like that, but then I just started making all sorts of weird stuff, like caves and the plastic mesh. Like that's basically just there for moss to eventually grow on and increase the surface area for microfilm to grow. But this tank's doing very well too. Obviously the Sulawesi Cardinal tank doing super good. That's what this is going to be. I'm almost positive I'm going to make this into another Cardinal Sulawesi tank. One, because it's no plants, because the only plant that I found to survive in the hot, like 80-degree water is Java moss, and they like a lot of rocks, so it's cheap to aquascape for me, which will be nice. And then just sand on the bottom because they don't need the buffering substrate. So it's a nice setup. It's either that or another Royal Blue Tiger tank. which, like I said, these guys, there's babies everywhere. You could probably even see right there, one there, one there. It's hard to see them on the black substrate. There's two more eating. I mean, they're literally anywhere you look, you're gonna see babies, probably all over the filter. But yeah, gorgeous royal blue tigers, orange eye royal blue tigers. Water Mysterio holds up well at 82 degrees. That is really good to know, Lumpy Dog. Thank you. KP Aquariums, welcome. Welcome. That is really good to know, your Water Mysterio. I have a little bit of that somewhere. Yeah, got some Water Mysterio right there. So maybe I'll pluck a little bit out of that and see how that does in the Sulawesi tank. But everything else I put in there is melted away. I made actually a video when I first set up this tank of me covering all these rocks and super gluing some wassertang all over the place in here. As you can see, that didn't hold up. But yeah, there's nothing really left. The quality might drop here a minute as I walk over here, guys, because the Wi-Fi has got to go through this fish tank and that wall of water. But over here, this is all that's left. It's being dismantled, ripped apart, gone. So these two tanks still need to be moved. That one's cracked. So I'm learning how to do stuff with cut glass. Thanks for the inspiration over at Mark's Aquatics. That channel's amazing. I am super jealous of him. He makes great stuff. So if you don't know, check out Mark's Aquatics. He's amazing. His videos are fantastic, every single one of them. But this rack I'm ripping down, coming down. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. But yeah, that's what's left of it. So, cool beans. I think that's about it, guys. I don't really have anything else to update on you. I just kind of wanted, this video is 32 minutes long. I originally meant it to be like 3 just to show you the rack. But yeah, I don't know, anything else you guys want to see real quick before we end this bad boy? Anubis do well in that temp as well too. Really? That's really good. See, I never really buy Anubis, so it's very slow growing, but I guess that's kind of what I'm looking for in these tanks now. Chris, sweet tie work in your Facebook post. Oh, thank you, my ties. Yeah, that's a Vidalia knot. I had a lot of weddings this summer. I think like 6 of them. So at the second wedding, I decided that every wedding I go to, I'm going to try out a new knot. So I YouTube like how to tie knots. That one's the Vidalia knot. I have another one with the Elderidge knot, which is really nice. So my favorite knots right now are probably Trinity, Elderidge, Vidalia, True Love. Yeah, those are pretty much the good ones. But I think that's it for this update, guys. I can't wait to get this tank full, get a couple more tanks over here, fill up these bottom rows, and then maybe I'll be done for a while. But I don't know. I got some room here. To build another rack. I was talking with my buddy Rob that might just move these washer and dryers over here to give us more room, for one, to do the laundry, because the rack will be out of the way for the dryer, and 2, it'll be a better view for me when I'm sitting in my office chair, just to be able to turn around at the rack over here. Awesome. So cool. I think no one's really asking any more questions, guys, so I'm gonna call this one good, unless I'm gonna count to 10, and if I see anything in the comments in the next 10 seconds, I'll answer it. If not, we're gonna call this a day. 1, 2, 3, 10.